There's some very real difficulties there. Joining us now from Glasgow is Dr. Lisa Cameron MP, the chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Disability. Morning to you. Thanks for joining us. And the reason particularly we've been talking about this is because what happened to this Paralympian Anne Wafula-Strike, who was forced to wet herself in her wheelchair because there was no disabled toilet available. What do you make of what happened to her? Is it acceptable?
Well, of course it's not acceptable, and I think it actually shows from Anne's story the real hurdles that face our Paralympians and people with disability right across the United Kingdom every day of the week in accessing public services. It's not acceptable. It's something that we need to be really heralding change for in Parliament, and it's going to form the next focus of our inquiry report in this parliamentary term in the All-Party Parliamentary Group.
And we saw the real difficulties there from parents, for example, having to change their children on the floor in public toilets. Again, should that be happening?
Well, it shouldn't. Apart from the fact that that's not hygienic for people, it should be a basic human right to be able to access a toilet. We are marginalising and excluding people from with disability from everyday services that other people just expect to be there. And that can't be right. It can't be right in 2017. And I think we need to make sure that this year is the year that we deliver for people with disability.
OK, and we heard in Nikki's report, didn't we, about the real difficulties councils facing with funding. So who should be responsible? Where should the money come from for these sort of facilities?
Well, I mean, I think that this has to be supported by government. It's something that I'm going to be pushing with the UK government in terms of debate in Parliament and also in terms of our pending inquiry report. But it also, under the Equalities Act, is incumbent upon companies who provide services to make sure that they make reasonable adjustments. And do we think it's reasonable for people with disability to be able to access a toilet in 2017? I think it is. So we need to work together and make sure that across business, across the public sector and across government that we are singing the same tune and that we're actually delivering for people with disability.
OK, you say companies that provide services. What do you mean and how would you enforce that?
Well, I mean, what we have to do... Companies including public transport companies, including companies who employ people with disability. I mean, this is another issue that it feeds in as a vicious cycle, because if people with disability can't access public transport, for instance, they can't access buildings where they can go to work, then we're actually excluding and marginalising them. It doesn't even make economic sense, because public transport companies, in Anne's case, are actually excluding a huge part of the population that could contribute to the economic development of society and of their company. And similarly, we need to halve the disability employment gap, which is huge across this country. So in terms of the work that we're doing, it links together. We can't exclude people with disability. We need to herald change right across the United Kingdom, make sure it's not a postcode lottery, make sure that we support changing places who are doing fantastic work in ensuring that people can have access to basic facilities such as toilets.
Okay.
But we need to be doing much, much more.
Lisa Cameron, thanks for your time on Breakfast this morning.
Thank you so much.